Both God and man have twofold constitution, of which the superior part is invisible and the inferior visible. In both there is also an intermediary sphere marking the point where these visible and invisible natures meet. The physical body is the heart, the most spiritual and mysterious organ in the human body. The second center, or the link between the superior and the inferior worlds, is elevated to the position of greatest physical dignity, the brain. The third, or lower center, is relegated to the position of least physical dignity but greatest physical importance, the generative system. Thus, the heart is symbolically the source of life, the brain the link by which, through rational intelligence, life and form are united, and the generative system or infernal creator the source of that power by which physical organisms are produced. As man's physical body has 5 distinct and important extremes, 2 legs, 2 arms, and a head, of which the last governs the first 4, the number 5 has been accepted as the symbol of man. By its 4 corners the pyramid symbolizes the arms and legs, and by its apex the head, thus indicating that one rational power controls 4 irrational corners. The hands and feet are used to represent the 4 elements, of which the 2 are feet, 2 feet are earth and water, and the other hands fire and earth. The brain then symbolizes the sacred 5th element, ether, which controls and unites the other 4. If the feet are placed together and the arms outspread, man's then symbolizes the cross, which the rational intellect has the head or upper limb. The fingers and toes also have special significance. The toes represent the 10 commandments of the physical law, and the fingers the 10 commandments of the spiritual law. The 4 fingers of each hand represent the 4 elements, and the 3 phalanges of each finger represent the divisions of the element, so that in each hand there are 12 parts to the fingers, which are analogous to the signs of the zodiac, whereas the 2 phalanges and the base of each thumb signifies the threefold deity. The first phalange corresponds to the creative aspects, perspective aspect, the second to the preservative aspect, and the base to the generative and destructive aspect. When the hands are brought together, the result is the 24 elders and 6 days of creation. In symbolism, the body is divided vertically into half, the right half being considered as light and the left half as darkness. By those unacquainted with the true meaning of light and darkness, the light half was denominated spiritual and the left half material. Light is the symbol of objective, darkness of subjective. Light is a manifestation of life and is therefore posterior to life. That which is anterior to light is darkness, in which light exists temporarily but darkness permanently. As life precedes light, its only symbol is darkness, and darkness is considered as veil, which must eternally conceal the true nature of abstract and undifferentiated being. In ancient times, men fought with their right arms and defended the vital centers with their left arms, on which was carried the protecting shield. The right half of the body was regarded therefore as offensive and the left half defensive. For this reason also the right side of the body was considered masculine and the left side feminine. Several authorities are of the opinion that present prevalent right-handedness of the race is the outgrowth of the custom of holding the left hand in restraint for defensive purposes. Furthermore, as the source of being is in the primal darkness which precedes light, so the spiritual nature of man is in the dark part of his being, for the heart is on the left side. Among the curious misconceptions arising from false practice of associating darkness with evil is one by which several early nations used the right hand for all constructive labor and the left hand for only those purposes termed unclean and unfit for the sight of the gods. For the same reason, black magic was often referred to as the left-handed path, and heaven was said to be upon the right and hell upon the left. Some philosophers further declared that there was 2 methods of writing, one from left to right, which was considered the esoteric method, the other from right to left, which was considered esoteric. The esoteric writing was that which was done out or away from the heart, while the esoteric writing was that, like the ancient Hebrew, which was written towards the heart. The secret doctrine declares that every part and member of the body is epitomized in the brain, and in turn that all that is in the brain is epitomized in the heart. In the symbolism, the human head is frequently used to represent intelligence and self-knowledge, as human body is its entity, is the most perfect known product of the earth's evolution. It was employed to represent divinity, the highest appreciable state or condition. Artists attempting to portray divinity often show only a hand emerging from an impenetrable cloud. The cloud signifies the unknowledgeable divinity concealed from man by human limitation. The hand signifies the divine activity, the only part of God which is cognizable to the lower senses. The face consists of natural trinity, the eyes representing the spiritual power which comprehends, and the nostril representing the preservative, the vivifying power, and mouth and ears representing the material power of the lower world. The first sphere is eternally existent and it's creative. The second sphere pertains to the mystery of the creative breach, and the third sphere to the creative world. By the word of God, the material universe was fabricated, and 7 creative powers or vowel sounds which has been brought into existence. By speaking of the word became the 7 Elohim or deities by whose power and ministration the lower world was organized. Occasionally, the deity is symbolized by an eye, an ear, a nose or mouth. By the first, divine awareness is signified by the second, divine interest by the third, divine vitality, and by fourth, divine command. The ancients did not believe that spirituality made men either righteous or rational, but rather righteousness and rationality made men spiritual. The mysteries taught that spiritual illumination was attained by only bringing the lower nature up to a certain standard or efficiency and purity. Mysteries were therefore established for the purpose of unfolding the nature of man according to certain fixed rule, which, when faithfully followed, elevated the human consciousness to the point where it is capable of cognizing its own constitution and true purpose of existence. This knowledge of how man's manifold constitution could be most quickly and most completely regenerated toward the point of spiritual illumination constituted the secret or esoteric doctrine of antiquity. Certain apparently physical organs and centers, in reality the wheels or shades of spiritual centers. What these were and how they could be unfolded was never revealed to the unregenerate. For philosophers realize that once he understands the complete working of any system, a man may accomplish a prescribed end without being qualified to manipulate and control the effects which he has produced. For this reason, long period of prohibitions were imposed so that the knowledge of how to become gods might remain the sole possession of the worthy.